company's name is Kinum. We are a debt collection company, third-party collections, 60 users, sales reps, admin, and of course the collection floor. We are interested in uh, we are interested. We're running on to our 5-year contract with Pantera Streams, so Pantera Networks streams. I give them like a solid B is a good that's a so fairly are it works 99% of the time. Um, we're always up at it's sort of foundationally secure in that my some of my collectors can outbound call 500 people a day manually, by smiling and dialing. Um, However, we're running up on our 5-year contract. Uh, we jumped on them because they were cheap and they had a messaging platform when COVID hit, right? We no longer need the messaging platform um, because we have Microsoft Teams and we plan on using Microsoft Teams. We have that for all of our users. We get that with our security suite. So we want to use Teams. We're all Microsoft infrastructure. And so the only piece left is is this a PBX solution. Um, we have looked at Ring Central, not particularly hard, but they said they could get us, our current price is $20 a month, unlimited calling per, we're not gonna play the minutes game. Because we know that unlimited calling is out there with streams for $25. We just see if we can get something better, if we can get a little bit more functionality because the two problems that I have with streams is that they're not a large company and therefore but they they're kind of when we tell them that there's a problem, so there's like a problem with a carrier, a problem with it's never really resolved until it gets, I don't hear a word on it. Oh, this is jitter, this is your network, this is your and I'm like, no, it's not, because there's somebody in Florida, there's somebody in Minnesota, there's somebody in New York. You're going to tell me that and they're all on different networks. You're going to tell me that it's not, right? Um, so sort of they sort of are like a cover your ass type thing. Generally it works, but like it's not, if when it doesn't, I have no recourse at all. And number two, there's no features, right? So they in 5 years, I'm just going to say for example, with the messaging, in 5 years, the only thing that they changed is the ability to make someone, read only in a chat. And like this is a very specific answer. This is a very specific thing that I'm telling you, but like that is like core functionality from 10 years ago. And
Right.
it took them essentially because they don't do updates because they have no interest in moving further. And at our 5-year contract being up soon, they brought in, I know what they do. They're now partnering with being the back end infrastructure to Five9. Um, that's sort of
Well,
and we got a price and we got a quote. Hey, all these cool, sick new features for 4 times what we're paying with streams.
sure.
So
Oh
like,
yeah, yeah. Going to fight on. I thought when you said something that made me think Pantera is probably like so many providers. They're on BroadSoft. They haven't updated it because they don't own the technology.
mhm.
It's not their technology. They white label something called BroadSoft, and BroadSoft is the big player next to it, and so many others used to be on them. A lot of them have moved off, and some are still
Mhm.
on it. They can't update it, and they're slow to fix things because they don't own it. It's not
That
their
makes
platform.
sense. It's so they're in a way sort of like an um yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, I could spend a bunch of money in a cloud stack and have cloud stack VoIP, but it's just on BroadSoft, and it would look
Yeah,
be the same with different colors, right?
yeah, I
And if
hear
it,
you.
if it didn't update in 10 years, it's because I don't own it. And if you had a
Yeah.
problem, me fixing some technology problem, it's because I don't own it. You'd have to contact me. I'd have to contact them, and that's what's
Uh,
happening with Pantera.
perfect example. We have a dialer. If you know what a dialer
I
is,
do, of course.
it's yeah, Mac dialer. So we use dial connection, and we have about 1,000 phone numbers from them. We use that in Puerto Rico, for example. In Puerto Rico, we hear that our calls are labeled from China and Russia so much that like I know it's not, because debtors will say what they want to say, right? There's, but so much that we know it to be true.
Hmm.
Um, and we have literally no recourse at all to do anything. And we know that it's the problem with streams because every time I hear this, it's from their numbers, not from dial connection, who I guess is using a different carrier down in Puerto Rico. I don't really know. But like my point here is that I have zero recourse. I have
So your calls are basically showing up as spam or something else when they
no,
drop
not
the call.
spam. And that's important because we're very well understood about spam. No, it's that there are pending international phone numbers to them.
Oh,
But I don't own any international phone numbers. I know all the phone number. I buy them all,
huh.
right? Yeah, they're a pending, and we know the spam game fairly,
Got it. Okay, got
fairly
it. Got it.
well
Okay, because
too.
yeah, there's tools for that, but that's a different stone too.
Sure, no, we use those tools. That's not what this
Okay,
is. They like
now, are you looking for a dialer also? Are you looking just for a straight? Tell me if you don't understand the term UCaaS, just phone,
uh,
just PBX,
unified
right?
communication
But you're
system,
not
something
looking
like
for a
that.
contact center stuff.
Not really, not really. And the reason why is that we are logging and having automations in our backend database for every single phone call that we do, right? Every phone call has a disposition, whether, the consumer, this was a bad number, it's a likely number, this was the right party contact for the consumer, they made a payment, right? All of that, our dialer is integrated seamlessly in to our database.
Okay,
It's going to be very difficult to leave them, and we have a
right,
lot of compliance reasons why we need someone to build. Uh, we need someone with a live integration with our database that nobody knows exists because it is very, very small. It's like a
right.
mom and pop shop out of Vermont. So no, not really. We could entertain the notion, but what like versus our manual calling platform for just our PBX is not integrated. We were looking to go with dial connections PBX because we know that theirs is integrated as well. However, they are not the most uh my execs are worried about putting all the eggs in one basket because if
Sure,
the dialers are down, who cares, right? Go ahead and call
right.
manually, you're good. If both the dialer and our manual PBX are down, we are not straight up, we're making zero money.
And
We're
what is your Microsoft licensing right now? What?
we have business premium. We just signed with a managed service provider slash cybersecurity platform. So we're
Got
covered
it.
there.
All right. Well, no, if you're integrating with Teams, that plays into it.
Yes,
If
right.
you want Teams to be to carry your voice,
Hmm.
what we do is we connect a top provider like the Vonages, the dial pads, the go-tos. I personally, now, if you say, hey, I like Ring Central, I really want to look at them closer.
Hmm.
Okay. I do not think they're a good fit for a company your size.
Hmm.
And I do a lot with Ring Central. I sell them all the time.
Hmm.
However, when you're under 100, 150 users, it's going to be 50-50, and a year goes by and you're not pulling your hair out. 50-50.
Hmm.
Very
Hmm.
enterprise focused. Some guys that are 20 users are like, this is fantastic. And it works fine until you need to talk to them and do something, right? And
Right.
the rest of them, other half is like, I've been trying 3 weeks to hear from somebody. What the hell's going on? And they call me saying, I want a different service. And mind you, I didn't sell them that because I warned my clients.
Uh-huh.
They'll tell you, hey, it's $10 a user, $15 a user. Sure. But you better look at that quote with estimated taxes and fees because they tack on $3.99 a user for compliance and recovery fee. It's not a
Uh-huh.
fee. It's not from the government.
I see.
Them just charging you more, but in a different way. And
Hmm.
I find that's a little duplicitous because it is their money.
Yes.
It's not a
Yeah.
tax. It's not a government fee. It's
That's actually
mostly
really
money.
good to know. We didn't know anything about Ring Central. Um just because they can get us to that price that's one thing, but we're looking for added features
And they
and
will get
or
you that price until
good
they
support.
will until you look at the whole quote and be like,
Sure,
oh,
yeah, yeah.
this
Hmm.
is these taxes and fees are making this almost double. Yeah, because they buried some of the costs in there. And
Hmm.
again, they're a fine company. It's just that when if you're 1,000 users or something, you don't care about this, and you need your ERP and your SAP and your Salesforce integration. You need all that to work a certain way. Then it makes sense to go there. I'm not hearing that here. What you'd like, I suspect, right, is a company that you're as happy in 6 months as you are today you sign on, and support is sterling. So your job is nothing to do with the phones, but it's debt collection.
Yes. Yep.
Debt
Yep.
collection.
Definitely.
And
Because
you're
I
like,
have to
oh, the
still,
happy
I
with
have
oil
to
like
run
that.
everything else,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm still running the dialer. I'm still running the database. I'm still
Uh,
running the every platform. And so what I should not be dealing with, right? What I shouldn't, because it's very simple. The phone working or not working. I would, y- you know, I'm tired of hearing my calls are coming up as Russia in Puerto Rico. I have no recourse. I
yeah,
can't
yeah, yeah, yeah.
do anything, right? And the best case scenario, a good case scenario would be if I asked Streams and they'd fix it. The best case scenario is that if they did it themselves. If I empowered the users to
Yeah.
to be able to, hey, here's the thing, and have users call in and say I have a problem, and then get the solution delivered without me.
What's your ballpark timeline?
Um uh Q4 by think I think December 2025 is when our 5 years runs out.
Got it. Um, Normally what I do in this cadence here is, and the timing is perfect right now. You want time. Um, oh, quick. AI. Does AI have any interest to you? In
Huh.
your very specific business flow, do you feel AI makes we use
Hmm.
it now, or you like to know it's there for the future? Because most of this stuff is outbound, but you can have AI. AI can do things outbound as well. It can listen to all your calls. Certain sentiments come up, and it can alert
Mm.
you, not alert you, save it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, so I want to see the gamut of what you have. We're engaging a lot of different providers right now for that reason. We currently use Cedric AI as a call monitoring compliance engine. They have an integration. They built an integration, had an integration with dial connection, do not have an integration with streams, and we're not in, and kind of they charge us a lot of money to do it.
sure.
So having one native
Yep.
is useful. AI outbound is expressly forbidden by the TCPA, I think. One of the regulations does not allow us to outbound um, using AI. Inbound, we are currently interested in a smart IVR. Hello, I see you're calling from this. Is this Greg? Right. Hello, Greg. Can you confirm this money? Oh, you confirm this address? Hi, I can talk to you. You have a remaining balance of $77. Would you like to pay? Do you need more time? That is a We would love that, but that also needs to get integrated into our database,
It doesn't
right?
happen on its own. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
wish it
So,
was
but
just
yeah,
like
we're
an electric
interested.
service. You just turn it
Yeah,
on.
right.
A lot of companies, again, I just use Ring Central only because it's a name that comes up. It's
Yep, that's
not, I'm
fine.
not trying to any name, right? Any name company, Ring Central uses AI. A lot of these companies are big on AI now. Dialpad, if you're familiar with Dialpad, is now a Magic Quadrant leader with Gartner. Uh, is actually writes is really an AI company. They write the book on AI. I think they have 65 PhDs just on their R&D staff
Really.
writing the AI. They're fantastic, and they're a great carrier. I love them.
Hmm.
Dialpad's fantastic. GoTo I think would be a good fit here. They all use AI, but if you really want the sharpest AI, the ones who actually write or an AI shop, Dialpad is fantastic. And
Yeah, we
if
have
you
to be
need it,
really
I'd still
compliant
say
too.
yeah, they're
We
still
need
one
to
of the
make
companies.
sure
Yeah,
we
only
need to
give
make
one.
sure that the AI is right.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
You want to look at it anyway. What we normally do from here is I say, hey, I take this back. I talk to Sarah and Ben Edwards, who's not here with me right now. We powwow a little bit, but this is, I do this a lot, right? Um, Three providers, I think, go to uh, Dialpad and maybe Vonage. Maybe not. I'm going to hold that one back. Maybe. I just want to check. I've heard a few things lately. I want to make sure that there's nothing that I would give you that you would say, they're not quite perfect, right?
Hmm.
I want to introduce you to three providers, and over the next few weeks, have a demo with each. In a perfect world, we do it the same week, so that maybe that Friday following, the week we had those demos, we put 15 minutes aside to debrief together. What do you think? What did you like? What worked? What didn't work? We have 65 providers in our portfolio, and we can bring them all to bear. I had one client once had to go through 10, and then eventually said, "Hey, they're starting to all look the same. What's the difference?" I said the
Hmm.
service. The difference is what's it like owning them in 6 months, because you don't know that looking at a car in a parking lot. They all look lovely. Hyundais look lovely. BMWs, they all look lovely. They all have all the features. What's the difference? Well, what's it like to own it? What's the support like? What's the service like? And that's where, these say 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 will make a difference. And you could look at companies like Five9 and Nice, but those are contact center companies. Those are enterprise contact center companies. There's no reason for your UCaaS needs you'd be at Five9,
Hmm.
Nice, Genesis.
Hmm.
Why would you pay $120 users? And they don't tell you that the implementation is $10,000, $20,000.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
But that's contact center stuff. That's what you are today. Go to Dialpad, maybe Vonage. They all have in broad voice, not broad broad voice. Also have fantastic contact center sides. So if you decide, hey, I want to try just a couple contact center seats, $20, $30 more license.
Um, i-
It's
can you explain the difference with that? Because I think because uh, in terms of our inbound, we need complex routing. Where we have an inbound IVR, one for one for Spanish, two for whatever. There's round robins. Getting to it would be interesting to have skill-based routing. We don't have skill-based routing right now. But yeah, there's some need for complex, um, inbound routing. I don't know whether that's contact center. I don't know the difference between contact center and what we're talking about.
usually contact center, unless there are some specific, ancillary features, is usually when you have queues. People are calling in and customers are calling in and they're waiting in a queue, right? You'll be answered in a minute, 2 minutes. You have a bunch of agents will log into that queue and they'll take the calls as they come in, and a supervisor can monitor that queue. See a
We
lot
have
of waiting in
that
those
to
queues.
a we have that to a point, except the only difference is no one's really waiting we because we're we've never there's rarely a situation where there's a call waiting. It goes from agent to agent. It says your turn. You have 15 seconds to pick it up. 10 seconds. I actually think it's 8 because we want you either pick up the call or move it to somebody else, and then you get
Yeah, and
five.
you don't need to have a queue to have a call wait. It can ring and ring, and if it doesn't ring in so many seconds, you can say, "Hey, switch it over here." Right?
Uh-huh.
You can do all that without contact center.
Okay.
I like GoTo's contact center because if you want just a feature or two in a contact, and there's a whole long list of features, and we'll go over all that next steps. Long list of features. If you say, "Yeah, we want that one," they have something called as some of them do, contact center light. Oh, well, it's like $20 more, and you only need it for a couple of people. Broad voice is the same thing. They'll say sometimes they'll pull out a contact center feature specifically for them. They might say, "Oh, skill-based routing." Well, we'll include that here. That's normally part of contact center, but you're not doing the queues. You're not a full-fledged contact center set up for those people. We won't charge a contact center for that, and they'll make that feature available. So it's nice to have a provider that has full contact center also, because sometimes you pick a few of those features without being stuck buying a whole contact center license. Um, Thank you for telling me about the skill-based routing, because I like to give, before we meet with each of these providers, I give them all my notes. You don't want to get on a call with each of three providers and start, "Okay, hi, we're on so and so. This is what we're doing," and have, sure, you'll cover
Yeah,
some of
I
the same
also don't
ground,
have
but
time.
I'm certainly not doing my
Yeah.
job if everything has to be repeated from the beginning. Then you'd be like, "This sucks." Let's leap off of the shoulders of where we are today. Um, Fantastic. What I would do is I'll follow up, give it a few days. I'm gonna follow up, make a couple introductions. and we'll schedule some demos. I'll help schedule the demos. If you tell me, let's look forward a week, next week and week after, if there are days and time slots, just generally speaking, that work best for you, I could hone those things in advance so that I can come back and say, hey, here's a few time slots for this one, for that one. They're already kind of funneled into what generally works for you.
No, no, except for um 2 o'clocks are generally bad. Um Wednesdays are generally good. And I'm in charge of all of the other projects that are going on. Every company is an IT company now, right? There's not a single, if you're not an IT company, you're so far behind that you're likely out of business,
My
right?
sleeves are so far rolled up this morning, digging into the rerouting the DNS and custom DKIMs and SPF.
Here we go.
And I'm like,
I
is
do
this
all
what I
of that.
do?
I do
Yep.
all of that for the
Hmm.
entire company.
I hear
Every
you.
piece of this. So I don't have much time to do it. Fortunately, we need to get rolling
Yep.
because we went from, the person that you have to beat is Dial Connections PBX. Except my executives had a very bad Friday a couple weeks ago where it was down for much of the day, and and they can say all they want, and I can agree with them all they want. Oh, it's a completely different network, it's a completely different server, it's a complete I know my bosses do not care. They don't care. And so we went from, okay, we're going to get the dial connection PBX, to now we have no idea.
Yeah,
And they
it
want
shouldn't
to
go down.
explore other and
Yeah,
they
I don't think
and
I've seen any of these carriers go down for the
yeah.
5, 6 years I've been really spearheading this part of the business, except for one. Surprisingly, I hate to say this name again. I've said it too much. Sarah, I should have used other names as examples. Ring Central went out
Mhm.
a month ago, and they're out for like 6, 7 hours.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
first time
that's,
in like 1,000 years they went out, right?
I
I
mean,
don't blame them. It was a bad software update. It wasn't
sure.
servers don't go down. They're so redundant. There's so many places. They pushed out a bad software update everywhere. Uh,
Hmm.
so
We can
yeah,
count our downtime in dollars. You're supposed to be able to do that. It is
yep.
incredibly easy for a collection company to do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
99.999% uptime. They're contractually bound to 8 minutes a year of being down. The rest, everyone really,
Mhm.
that I would put in front of you, and I've never seen them go down. It just doesn't.
Okay. That's my so my point here is I do not is I don't have much time, but I want to get, if that's how you do it, and you essentially are the rep to try and find me, to try and find us a good fit. I don't necessarily have a problem with that, having an expert, because we have no idea. We don't know whether 5.9's good. We don't know whether Ring Central's good.
Yeah,
We
five
don't know
nine's
whether,
fantastic, but
we
it's
don't
not.
know
It's
any of them.
nothing. It's nothing at all what you're looking for. It's just a
And
totally
maybe what
different
we and
thing.
maybe we'd be wasting too much time. So yeah, I have some availability to take a look at a platform, get a price point, take a look at the products, pass these through to my executives, because they now want to potentially
Yeah, and if there's
not.
anyone else you want to look at, hey,
Hmm.
let me know. I drive prices down. Whatever price that say Ring Central might throw
Hmm.
at you, it'll be 20% lower,
Hmm.
easily. It just
Hmm.
happens because I bring so much business. I don't
Hmm.
cost you anything. You mentioned when you're down, it costs dollars, and you could measure that. Some companies can't, some can. I don't know, Sarah, if you want to just kind of
You
jump.
were ringing my bells.
I
Well,
know
no,
when you heard
because
that, I heard Sarah,
well,
because
I
that's
started making
that
a little
language.
list of things. So I'm like, well, hang on a minute here, because I had some questions, and then you said that, and that's my
Hmm.
favorite thing to ask people is how much time can you be down? Because I'm the queen of disaster recovery over here.
Yeah.
But you said a couple of things that were. I'm going to start at the top of my list. You have Teams, and you get that with your security suite. What does that mean?
We use Microsoft Business Premium, and we get Teams with that.
Business Premium. Okay.
Yeah, we have licenses that we just signed we changed providers from a random managed service provider to someone that we like and we trust. It's kind of cybersecurity leader in the collections industry. And so we sign with them. They're gonna manage licenses that are currently with some random MSP in Northern Virginia, you know. But yes, we have business premium licenses, and that includes Teams.
Are they backing up the teams?
Mhm.
Okay. Because that's an area that a lot of people aren't aware of. You'd be surprised.
Yes,
I have
correct.
calls all morning with people with very, very large companies that aren't backing up their teams today. And
Jeez.
it takes me 30 seconds to poke that hole because oh yeah, we're backing it up into OneDrive. I'm like, OneDrive's not a backup. That's that you have to have it outside of Microsoft. That's a backup. Okay. And then what compliances? I'm curious, is that everything, or do you do billing for a specific industry? And I may have missed that.
I'm sorry.
Or collections, I mean.
What was your question about compliance?
What kind of compliances do you have to adhere to?
Graham Leach Bliley, the Regulation F of the CFPB, even though maybe the CFPB doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
The Telephone Consumer Protection, HIPAA, privacy laws, the California privacy, things of that nature. So yes, and so those are our compliances, and what we do is, we're pushing as much stuff into the Microsoft environment as we can. Cloud, Azure, we have a domain controller. We're moving over to virtual. But that stuff, Sarah, I just want to, tell you, we've got someone, we had someone handling it, not particularly well, and we just signed last week someone that is completely in charge of the entire compliance infrastructure, as much as a vendor can be. That was the point.
All right, I appreciate that, and that's not that I'm here to try and sell you something. I'm here to solve business problems. So whether that's with me or with somebody else,
that's right.
I want you to know. And even though you signed with somebody last week, my role here is to make sure that people don't put Greg into just the UC box. That he does all of the other things, like I mentioned, the connectivity, the whatever. And I'm on his team for that. So I'm happy to hear that, because had this been, had we had this call 3 months ago, we might have had a slightly different conversation about your backups.
Yeah. Yep.
In your Azure, in your whole environment. So, do you mind sharing who that is? It's okay if you don't. I'm just curious at this point.
Sure. It's Secure Guard Comply, Secure Govern Comply. They used to be TPX. Or he used to work for TPX, but he's doing sort of like an offshoot, startup, and he's and the guy there is excellent, Jonathan Goldberger. We actually signed with TPX for the same guy, and then he left, and we're like, well, we're coming with you, because an excellent choice of he understands both the compliance rules that we need to do and cybersecurity at the same time. So exactly who we need to keep things going.
That's perfect. I like that. I love when somebody does that and they do niche stuff. I understand compliance on various levels, but more so, I'm on the supervisory board for a credit union here in Arizona, one of the larger ones. So I understand financial compliance from that perspective. And a lot of the acronyms you threw out, I was like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Obviously the HIPAA and all the things that go with it, but that's where if you were to say, I can't say I'm an expert, but that's where my expertise lies. So I'm happy to hear that you are down this path and that you have somebody that warms my heart. Greg, maybe not so much, but for me, that warms my heart that you go that route. And I hope Greg becomes that for you with this, because he is the guy. He's the gold master with all of these providers, and it's not just about price. It's about, and I think you mentioned this earlier, it's about levity, right? If you have a problem, go to Greg, because Greg is many to them. You are one. He holds a lot more weight with the providers than just the customer calling in. So
yeah, let's see if we can find some.
Good luck with that.
Fantastic. Well, super. I think my next steps, Nicolai, are I'm going to speak with my providers, let them know what we have. I might take that third slot and make sure I have the one who's got the best skills-based routing in there as well. I'm going to follow up. Today is Wednesday. You'll hear from me at the latest by Monday, probably Friday. And we'll look to schedule some, demos and presentations, and we'll get some, competitive pricing right after that.
Yeah.
And move from there. And if you, hey, those were great. I want to look at this one, that one also, or no,
Mhm.
this really rose to the top. I wouldn't be showing them to you if they didn't have great track record or great
Mhm.
service. I mean, every provider, there's always someone's got a hiccup at some point, some client. I don't think I've ever had a provider, in my client base that's never had some hiccup with some client, right? And clients aren't always correct. But who do you want is someone who's going to jump in real fast on a high level and fix it real quickly. Say, oh, we're very sorry. Here, we fixed that for you. There's a misunderstanding here. Let's throw some free licenses at that you didn't know you would be or would not be getting. And then you walk away going, oh,
Mhm.
all right, that's great.
Nice. I'm going to
Versus
give
versus a
you.
headache that goes on for weeks, and that happens. Some providers are private equity owned, and
When I so as I've said before, I have some time to devote to this. Not not all the time in the world. Over a longer period of time, we can get there. What I'm going to give you is I'm going to give a requirement and a wish list, right? Because I've already talked to a few providers. Like as I'm sitting here, I'm thinking, oh well shit, I need someone that also can provision phone numbers for us and can have it do a routing. I'm just gonna show you how annoying it is because it's fun to show you. Um,
those things will go away. I'm just, I don't want to be the guy who's promising everybody. I've actually had a client, a vendor once say, hey, just tell them whatever it is, just say yes. Are you nuts?
yeah, no,
I'd
no,
rather
and
say no or, maybe.
we do the same thing with our sales reps, and I'm
Yeah.
like, why are you saying yes to that? You have
The
no
heavy
idea.
lifting, and then if it works, great. If it doesn't, you manage the expectations. It's all about managing expectations.
Look at this,
This would be a problem, but you fixed it, great. But don't say yes. What the hell?
638 phone numbers. Whenever I buy one, I have to manually assign it to one or another local area code, or else it doesn't get used. Okay, so then when I'm trying to batch phone numbers, all right, for example, I buy three more of these, right? I buy three more of one of these. I have to They show up down here. I have to click each one, add them, click these and remove them. There's no way to swap out a batch. So what happens? So we don't do it. That's what happens, right? I've had these same phone numbers for 2 years and they're spam flagged and they're whatever. But like that's worth its weight in gold. So my point here, Greg, is that I'm just like, there's things that I want to give you a wish list. I want to give you a things that we need basically, and then things that might be nice, and kind of go from there, because I just straight up forgot to tell you that's a critical need. And so at any rate, that's what I'm gonna try and deliver to you here in the next week.
Great. Yeah, I'd like to have that and just chew on that with the providers for a couple of days before meeting with you. That way they can be all geared up to answer those questions. Or maybe we remove one of those providers and say, oh, yes,
Okay,
let's look at
wish
this one.
list.
When do you think I could have that? Not to pressure you
No,
more.
I hear you. No, I mean you're not gonna be able to. I have so much stuff going on, in the next week.
Got it. Do we want to schedule demos for next week and knowing that we don't have the wish list in front of our providers yet, or push it out to the week after?
Let me get you the wish list first, because
Yeah. Let's do
that's
that.
gonna
Be a
be
lot more
important.
streamlined. Then we'll
I'll have it in
yeah.
the next few days.
We'll have a common language then to speak from that
That
we've all
is,
thought about.
that is gonna take some brain power from me going through, okay, what are we, what are we truly missing? What have we been missing for the past 5 years? That's definitely one that I like, we can't do without. We're not gonna sign one. I'm a provider that doesn't have fairly good capability of swapping out phone numbers, because we get blocked because debtors don't want to talk to someone that makes them want to pay money. Like that's what it is. That's the deal. And
Yeah, you want to just be able to add and remove them to your system, and then you move them wherever you want, or you want to be able to just go right into a queue and add phone numbers directly into like a call.
that's the yes, exactly that same one. But again, the end of the day, I am going to detail out, kind of what we're looking for, what doesn't work right now, what we need to work.
Fantastic. All right, I'll look forward to that. I'll get everything going on this end, and we'll get some demo set up for the weekend of the 23rd.
Great.
And the next few days, I'll get that from you. And huzzah, moving forward.
Excellent. Yep.
Love it.
Good to
Hey, I
talk.
appreciate
Good
your
meeting
time.
you, Greg. Good
Yeah,
meeting you,
great meeting
Sarah.
you.
Likewise.
Have a wonderful day. Sarah, thank you. And I'll talk to you all later.
Talk soon.